The big talking point that has come out of the crazy and downright exhausting weekend of pro wrestling that we had is the Seth Rollins injury. And rightfully so, because the Seth Rollins injury completely throws everything that WWE was working towards SummerSlam and throws it out the door. Because you had so many storylines involving Seth Rollins, involving this new group that's led by Seth Rollins. So with the Rollins injury, it really just throws everything out the door. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at what's next for this new group that is led by Seth Rollins. Before we get too far ahead in the video, I want to say that if you are a WWE fan, consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. That is all we post is WWE related content. So for a WWE fan, again, consider subscribing. It's free. You can always change your mind later. So I do think that the most likely scenario that we see play out is we just get Paul Heyman essentially taking over the faction and being the mouthpiece for Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And I say that's the most likely because we already kind of got a glimpse of what that could look like on Monday Night Raw. Obviously, on Monday Night Raw, we had the big return of Roman Reigns, which pretty much set up a tag team match for Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, most likely taking on Jey Uso, Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. And I could totally see this being what WWE does with the group moving forward. You have Paul Heyman, who is still one of the best mic workers of all time, being the mouthpiece and kind of just filling in for Seth Rollins. Now, a lot of this has to do with how long Seth Rollins is going to be injured for, and right now, we really don't have a concrete answer. We just have a lot of speculation and rumors. But we do know that it is a knee injury, and we know that knee injuries can take a lot of time to heal. So my big worry is if they do just have Paul Heyman leading the charge with this new faction, with Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed as a tag team, how long is that going to be sustainable? Now, I do have one scenario that I really kind of want to do a deep dive on. And that scenario is, what if Braun Breaker takes over the faction? And before you come at me and start immediately arguing why would Braun Breaker want to do this, why would they do this early with Braun Breaker, let's not forget, there was a very similar scenario to this happening with D-Generation X. Obviously, when Shawn Michaels got hurt, we saw Triple H take control of DX and take it to new heights and take his career to new heights. Without Shawn Michaels getting hurt, we may never get the game. So I could really see a scenario where Braun Breaker comes in and is the leader of this group. Something to point out as well, it's very clear that they want Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman working very, very close together. And Paul Heyman is always the closest with the leader of the group. We saw it with Roman Reigns, we saw it with Seth Rollins. He's the closest to the leader. If Braun Breaker was to take over the faction, it would obviously set him and Paul Heyman up to be closer than ever. And kind of circling back to Monday Night Raw and what we saw on Monday Night Raw, the majority of the show, we saw Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker. We didn't get Bronson Reed until the very end of the show. So maybe this was kind of a little tease as to what we could see. And something that you may be wondering, well, what about Bronson Reed? If Braun Breaker was to take over the faction, where does that leave Bronson Reed? And I think that WWE might have already started to plant those seeds. A couple weeks ago, we had Paul Heyman talking about a plan B. That plan B could be a new member added to the group. That would obviously allow Bronson Reed to tag team with whoever that may be. And again, we know that this type of story can work. Again, we saw it with DX. And if WWE wants to give Braun Breaker the massive push that we all think they're going to give, why not jumpstart it right now? While yes, it does suck that he's not going to get the tutelage of a Seth Rollins, he's got Paul Heyman right next to him, which isn't the worst person to be learning from. And again, a lot of this has to do with how long Seth Rollins is going to be hurt for. Now, I am hoping that it is going to be a quick recovery from Seth Rollins. I'm hoping that the injury to Seth Rollins is just a tweak and is something that requires physical therapy and rehab and not surgery. So if the injury is on the shorter term, I think we could just see Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed rolling in as tag team partners with Paul Heyman in charge. If it is going to be on the longer side of things, maybe Braun Breaker coming in and taking lead of the faction isn't the worst idea. So, this is where I want to hear from you guys, and I'm really, really curious on this one. What do you think happens next with this group? Do you think it's just going to be Braun and Bronson being a tag team, being led by Paul Heyman, or do you see this going a little bit further and we see something like I brought up and Braun Breaker leads the faction? And on that scenario, let me know if that's something that you would be curious to see. Do you want to see Braun Breaker take charge of this new group? Let me know why you would like to see it. Let me know why you wouldn't like to see it. So as always, let me know that stuff down below in the comments. And while you're down there, swing by the description and click the Linktree link. That is the only link in bio for a reason, and that is because it'll take you to all of the social medias for this channel. I do strongly suggest going and checking out our X page. Besides YouTube, I am most active over on X. We do updates for Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and the PLEs. And above all else, I want the X page to be a place for wrestling fans to go and talk about wrestling, especially if you're like me and you don't have a lot of people to talk to about wrestling. So if you are like me and you're looking for a group of wrestling fans to talk about wrestling with, swing by an upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, one of the upcoming PLEs. I know we don't have one for quite some time now because WWE decided to load up last weekend. But if you are watching Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and you're on X and you come across one of my updates, join in on the conversation and maybe it's for you at the end of the day. With all that said and done, that is going to do it for this video here. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. Both are free. Both really, really help out the channel a lot. And if you have made it to this point of the video, I want to say thank you very, very much for taking the time out of your busy day to watch these videos here. And as always, stay tuned for more WWE-related content coming in the future. We'll see you next time.